Hello friends, this video is going to be helpful and useful to everyone who wants to overcome stress, anxiety and even tragedy in their lives. The idea of this video came to me when one of my friends has unfortunately suffered a terrible loss in their lives recently. They've lost a loved one and they go through such a difficult and low point in their lives, and I naturally wanted to reach out to them and offer my help. And I knew that in my experience, when I was going through difficult times in my life, what helped me was keeping a journal, was writing things down, expressing my feelings and putting them into words. And I wanted to reach out and tell about this, but I didn't want to sound very vague, to say something like, hey, have you tried writing things down? Or have you tried keeping a journal? They say it helps. The last thing that a person who goes through grief needs is vague philosophical reflections about anything. I wanted my advice to be clear and concise, and what I decided to do was to go and read some academic articles and scientific research and find out some clear and concise steps that one can take and apply to their journal. I've read multiple articles over the past couple of months, and there was one article in particular that summarized everything that every scientist, every researcher on this topic said. And I would like to give you a step-by-step guide on how you can use your journal. Although after finishing this video, you'll be able to follow and have clear steps on how you can use your journal effectively in order to absorb your emotions, I would still recommend you to read that article that I'll link down in the description of this video. It is just 8 pages long, and it will give you such a useful tool when you will need it, when your loved one will need it. So the first thing that I would like to explore in this video is I would like to kind of separate a regular journal that you might be already keeping in your life right now from therapeutic journaling. The key difference between the two is the intention and the focus. Our regular daily journal often can focus on a variety of experiences, on a variety of events and feelings that we go. Whilst what therapeutic journaling and the steps that we are going to discuss in this video focuses on a particular event in your life that has taken you out of sudden, and you cannot fully absorb those emotions, and you need to integrate that event that had shaken you so much into your own psyche. Therapeutic journaling is an internal process of using the written word to express the full range of emotions, reactions and perceptions we have related to difficult, upsetting or traumatic life events. There are 3 types of journaling that can help you to overcome your stress, anxiety or just uncertainty in life. All those 3 were devised by American psychologist whose name is Dr. James Pennenbraker. Pennenbraker identified 3 types of journaling. The first one is called therapeutic journaling. The second one is devised by another psychologist, his surname is McAdams, and it's called guided biography. And the third one is perhaps going to be the most familiar to you. It's called gratitude journaling. And whilst those 3 types of journaling are different from each other, they have a similar protocol, and this protocol is devised by the Dr. James Pennenbraker, and we are going to explore that. The expressive writing protocol consists of asking someone to write about a stressful, traumatic or emotional experience for 3 to 5 sessions over 4 consecutive days for 15 to 20 minutes per session. Okay, let's explore all those 3 types of journaling in order to give you an opportunity to choose which one suits you the best in your particular circumstance. The first one, as we said, is therapeutic journaling. And therapeutic journaling is putting your feelings into words. It is articulating how you feel. As Joan Didion said in one of her articles, she said that she doesn't know how she feels and what she thinks about things until she writes it in her journal. And this is exactly what therapeutic journaling is about. It is putting your feelings into words. And there is a Russian proverb that says that demons become less scary once they are described. So this technique is precisely about this. It helps you to describe your demons, to make them less scary, to make them more tangible, visible, so you can fight them. The second type of journaling that I told you about is called guided biography, and I really like this idea that was devised by McAdams, is that you not only need to understand your demon, you need to integrate it into the broader picture to see how a certain event fits into your own biography. This guided biography can be used with the previous one, the therapeutic journal, but guided biography differs from the previous type of journaling is that it not only helps you to articulate your feelings, but it also helps you to put those feelings, those experiences in a broader context of your life. And what I mean by this is that imagine you've lost your job and you feel really scared, you feel lost in general. The question that arises, many people don't see, is that maybe the job loss is a good thing. Maybe if you ask yourself whether the job that you've lost was actually nourishing you, was actually developing and giving you new skills. Another question to ask in this case is that, would you like to work in this position for the next 10 years? How would it fit into your general life biography, a story that you are going to reflect on once you'll reach the age of 60, 70 or 80 years old? One of the key things of guided biography is that when you write about a certain feeling, you try to attach that feeling to a certain theme in your life. You are making a connection. The third type of journaling that we talked about is called gratitude journaling. And of course, there are many videos, many articles about this, but there's one thing that many YouTubers, many bloggers miss when it comes to gratitude journaling, and that is that gratitude is a virtue. That gratitude journaling is not just simply noticing what you're grateful in life, but it is practicing a virtue. It is practicing seeing it automatically. That at some point, I believe that if you'll keep a gratitude journaling consistently, you will be able to get rid of it because you'll practice that virtue so often that it will come automatically. Okay, I would like to read out to you who can benefit from this therapeutic journaling and how it works. So the research by Pennenbraker and then McAdams discovered that therapeutic journaling could be helpful in cases if you break up with your long-term partner, in case of death of a loved one. Unfortunately, this is what my friend has experienced. Unemployment can be extremely stressful. Natural disasters and generally stressful events. Both Pennenbraker and McAdams and many other scientists and researchers around this field that I've read over the past couple of months, they all say that therapeutic journaling is helpful in general when it comes to stressful events. Now let's jump to the practical part, but before we'll jump to it, there are three things that I would like to mention. The first thing is that you need to know when you are ready to write and practice therapeutic journaling. Pennenbraker says, don't start writing things down right after a difficult event in your life. You need to give yourself some time to get out of this initial shock of what happened to you. It is something that you will feel intuitively. And the second thing, what is really important, is that you will need to find a space to practice this safely, calmly, without any distraction. It could be your library, it could be a spare bedroom that you have in your house, it could be a cafe that you feel particularly safe and comfortable with. It doesn't matter where exactly you're going to do, as long as you feel safe. And what is also important, and I think I'm jumping a bit ahead of here, is that if you're planning to do this in a cafe, let's say, make sure that this cafe is accessible for the next 4 to 5 days whilst you are going to do this, because this is how many sessions you will need in order to fully have the effects of therapeutic journaling. So make sure that you'll be able to go to that cafe for the next 4 to 5 consecutive days. Okay, and the third and the final thing is that to make sure is that you need to select the topic and the event that you're going to focus on. Unfortunately, sometimes it happens that there are several different events that we haven't fully understood how their effects on our life, but it is important to focus on a single one in order not to digress into different spaces. So please, before you will jump to the practical steps, be sure that you've selected the topic. First thing that Dr. James Pennenbraker tells us is that you should select the topic and then you should explore it from as many angles and perspectives that you feel comfortable with. You should reveal your experience, the event, and the feeling from your own perspective, or from the perspective of your family member or a co-worker, whoever else is involved in this event. The second important thing here in this protocol is the length and the frequency of each session. I've mentioned several times that you should practice this for at least 4 consecutive days. Consecutive is the most important word in this sentence, because if you will do it for 4 days spread out within 6 months, it might not work. It will be more effective if you will sit down for 4 days in a row, or 4 consecutive days for at least 15 to 20 minutes. Third step is extremely important. Dr. James Pennenbraker says that you should write continuously, that you shouldn't stop and take pauses. Just write it as if it is a flow of consciousness. Imagine that you're Virginia Woolf and you're writing what comes to your mind. Don't care about grammar, don't care whether you follow punctuation, whether it makes sense or not. Just write what comes to your mind. Start with the topic that you've selected, with the event that you've selected, and go with the flow. See where your mind takes. If you run out of things to say, which is one of the most important things and difficult things, start repeating what you've written before. This is what Dr. James Pennenbraker says. Once again, everything that I mention is what the scientists say. It's not something that I came up with. The next step is something that I tell to everyone in my YouTube videos, in my articles about journaling. I constantly repeat this, is that your journal is for your eyes only. Some people, for some reason, the day they start keeping a journal, they go and tell it to their partner. They go and tell it to their friends. Don't do that. Keep your journal private and secret for as long as you can. And this is what scientists themselves say. They say that it should be very private activity, because you'll have to write about things honestly. This is one of the key things. You have to write in your journal as honestly as you can. And if you feel uncomfortable, if you have a fear that somebody will open your journal and read about your thoughts and feelings, feel free to burn it. Feel free to shred it. There are some people, unfortunately, who live in families which do not respect the privacy of the family members, and I totally understand. Destroy what you've written. Write it in a language they don't speak. Invent your own language if it is needed. I've actually an article about this on my Patreon called "Can You Keep Secrets?" I'll link it down below. If you're interested, you can read it there as well. Okay, the fifth thing that is a part of this protocol is that if what you write about feels too upsetting, be sure that you can switch a topic, switch to something that comes to your mind that you feel comfortable with, and continue with the topic that you feel more comfortable with for the rest of the session. And the sixth and the final step that is mentioned here is what to expect. After you follow this protocol, what you should expect. It is interesting that this academic article said that it will be natural on the second or the third day that you will feel slightly upset, slightly sad, and it's completely normal. You'll come back to your regular self after some time, so don't worry about it. This is something that is expected. It is you accepting and absorbing your emotions. Another important thing is that please reserve 15 to 20 minutes to write about your feeling, but also 15 to 20 minutes to reflect about what you've written. This is also equally important. I've done 4 sessions, 4 consecutive days, for 15 minutes writing about a single topic. I felt comfortable, it wasn't upsetting, and it helped me a lot. I didn't feel sad after the second session, perhaps because it wasn't as hard topic as it was, but it really helped me to absorb something that was giving me anxiety. It was really helpful and useful, and I hope it will be helpful and useful to you too. And I would like once again to mention that if you need a professional help, this is not a substitute to professional help. I'm just a guy on the internet who is passionate about journaling, who wants to help, who has done some just research about this topic. So if you need professional help, please seek professional help. Another thing that I would like to say is that if you need more advice about these kind of private topics, I would really recommend you to join my Patreon. I know it sounds a bit strange, it feels as if I'm plugging in another project of mine here, but I explain on my Patreon why I decided to do it on Patreon, because journaling is a very private thing. It's very difficult to speak on YouTube where billions of people come and everyone can watch. You need that safe space, so I decided to do it on Patreon. But if you're interested in journaling, if you want your journal to become your friend, your consistent friend throughout your life, in the same way as many great authors had and did, please consider joining my Patreon. This is all that I wanted to say. If this video was helpful, please let me know. If there are any questions, ask me in the comment section. I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.